Welcome to the Palmer Time. My name is Arthur Chen, coming to you live from the Palmer Time studio in Alder. Tonight we have... Oh, come on. When are you ready to start? All right. Let me practice my lines a few times first. Okay. Do you want me to turn off Roblox VC, or do you want me to do Discord stream? Which one do you want me to talk in? Okay. Do you want
So the investigative process when it comes
pretty hard. To make money, that's a big thing. All right, but
What did you do?
I accidentally hit the Roblox icon again. And you know how it brings up the.
Oh my god, yeah.
I'm heading back to courthouse.
So the investigative process when it comes
Pretty hard. To make money, that's a big thing. Alright, but
So the investigative process when it comes
pretty hard. To make money, that's a big thing. Alright, but
So the investigative process when it comes
Pretty hard. To make money, that's a big thing. All right, but
So the investigative process when it comes to
Pretty hard. To make money, that's a big thing. Alright, but
so the investigative process when it comes to
pretty hard. To make money, that's a big thing. Alright, but
introduced and signed into law, 62.5% of respondents agreed with it, while 37.5 people disagreed with it. Since the law has actually come into effect and we've seen the implications, which some of our viewers have said are negligible, if any, the law's popularity has decreased sharply into a 50-50 on either side. Starting with Totoro, why do you think support from the State Firearms Act has gone down so much?
I don't know, and I'm no expert on public opinion. Like I said, my job is just to defend all the laws of the state in state court.
Thank you. And Sixa?
It's as simple as this: the law is ineffective. It absolutely changes nothing. It does not stop a criminal from a criminal or anyone. I'm just using criminals in this scenario because guns are inherently dangerous, and criminals, they use guns to commit their crimes. And as I was saying, Stetson M2A is a popular choice, and I'm sure you can talk to any criminal on the street, anyone, they're going to say that the Stetson M2A is a popular choice of weapon for crimes because its precision, its accuracy, and the damage that it does is just it exceeds anything that the micro and the salami can do. Now, I'm not disputing that the micro and the salami can do damage, but what I'm saying is that this law doesn't really it doesn't change anything about crime. And in fact, I would not be surprised, and I'm not saying this off any report or poll or anything, but I would not be surprised if crime has either risen or stayed the same, because, as I said, the State Firearms Act is ineffective and useless.
Thank you. And now to your client, Sixa. Recently, viewers reported seeing ads across the state labeling Large Titanic as a socialist, a tyrant, and demanding his resignation. Is that still the stance of the NRA?
I'm solely here to represent their legal interest, I will say. Now, their marketing, their choice of marketing, while it may appeal to a certain group of individuals, I would be wrong to comment on their operations and how they conduct their marketing. Now, I'm not disputing that these labelings of large may be true, but I can't approach this topic reasonably without exceeding my duty is just to represent them in this case. So
fair enough. Mr. Totoro, if the association were to claim that such labels still belong to Mr. Titanic, you could be accused as supporting the socialistic and tyrannical policies of the administration. What is your response to that?
Well, my job is to defend the law, whatever it may be, regardless of administration, political stance. My job is not to take a side on any particular matter, simply just to administer the law and defend the state to the best of my ability, as I've done in dozens of cases before the Superior Court and Supreme Court. So I take no personal stance on the law, and I hope that the citizens of Ridgeway can see that as well. Regardless of administration, regardless of what the law is, I will diligently defend it.
Thank you. And my final question for both of you tonight is the calls of law enforcement. Law enforcement makes up a major part of our community. I'd say a good amount of the active daily users on Ridgeway are, in fact, law enforcement. What factors do each of you have in taking your respective sides when it comes to law enforcement and protecting their interests? Sixa, you first, please.
is your question approaching what law enforcement officers think about the law, or how? I mean, I don't believe I understand.
Sorry, I should clarify. How do you feel law enforcement's how well do you think law enforcement support your side and why?
Well, I mean, if you look in the RNIA server, you will find, I mean, I'm not going to go in and count myself, but you will find a select few of law enforcement who support the, the goals the representations of the RNRA. But that's not my point. I highly doubt. I mean, these people, their opinion, it's they have an ulterior motive to this fact, because they're the ones getting out there. For example, they're prejudiced against weapons. I think civilian weapons, because they're getting shot with them on. I mean, they're getting shot, they're getting killed. They're having to respawn, they're having to get all their gear again, and it's just a long process. So I highly doubt that they entirely support the case itself. But I'm sure that the license, as you mentioned, will definitely make them feel better about because it's law enforcement who's going to be screening the membership. I mean, not the memberships, the licenses and the applications. So if the Ridgeway County Sheriff's Office fails to effectively pass or let people who are qualified for a license get a license, then that's a problem on their part. But I don't believe that law enforcement are entirely supportive of striking the State Firearms Act down. But as I said, there is a whole different avenue if the new Guns Right Act is passed.
Thank you, Mr. Totoro. How is law enforcement standing behind your side, and why?
Well, I mean, I think the Senate and the elected officials of the state have deemed that the State Firearms Act is an important piece of legislation for protecting government officials, including police officers. So I just see my job
That's
as
its sole
carrying
purpose.
that out.
The Senate. I mean,
Mr. Sixer,
for
can you
less.
let the Solicitor General finish, please?
I can, unfortunately.
Thank you.
I mean, I don't see myself as particularly taking a particular stance, and I don't know if the citizens are taking a particular stance. I can't really speak to that, but like I said, I'm just defending the law as it is.
Thank you. Closing words, Mr. Totoro, you first.
Well, I just want everyone to know that the State Firearms Act is a totally lawful piece of legislation. It abides by the standards set forth by the United States Supreme Court over the summer in their recent Second Amendment case, which defined the test for constitutionality under the Second Amendment. That case was New York State and Pistol Rifle Association v. Bruin, and it outlined the two-prong test. The State Firearms Act passes with flying colors both prongs of the test, and as I hope the Superior Court and perhaps the Supreme Court will find in the coming weeks, this law is totally within the bounds of the Second Amendment, and I will defend it as zealously and as vigorously as I can.
Thank you. Sticks up.
I mean, it's very simple. The State Firearms Act is an unconstitutional prohibition on two firearms that have been key in self-defense of the home, of the person, and other important factors of life. And I think that alone sets the ground for determining this law to be unconstitutional. And as such, I think that the court, if this ever gets to trial, I mean, it is at trial, but if it gets to the ending stages of trial, I believe that the court will uphold the intention of the text of the Constitution, the text that the Supreme Court has laid out, and certainly the intention of our founding fathers. Mr. Totoro and the DOJ, they've been very competent, and I will give them that, just to say a few nice words. But I still disagree with their points, because, of course, I'm going to have to defend them as well as I can. And my clients I'm speaking about, from these ridiculous approaches to this law and their defensive strategies. But I do respect their tenacity and their professionalism they've maintained. But as I said, I think that the court will ultimately find in our favor and uphold the rights of the people of the state. So.
All right, sorry about that. I don't know what happened to Arthur, but we'll move on to viewer questions. You can ask the questions through the Palmer Times general chat, or you can request to join the stage. Give that a minute. All right, we're just gonna end off with this. So thank you guys for joining us on the Palmer Times. That's all we have for tonight, but tune back with us for the coverage of the Ridgeway National Rifle Association versus the Governor Large Titanic 2 trial. We hope to have these guys back as the case progresses. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So the investigative process when it comes
Pretty hard. To make money, that's a big thing. All right, but